When your cat blinks slowly at you after a conflict, it is voluntarily going blind in front of a predator. That is not attitude. That is the only apology a cat actually knows how to give. Closing their eyes, even for a fraction of a second, removes their primary line of defense. For a prey animal, that is not a reflex, that is a choice. A 2020 study from the University of Sussex confirmed this isn't just quirk behavior. When owners slow blinked back, researchers measured a genuine, quantifiable drop in stress hormones in the cats who received the response. One look, one measurable shift in body chemistry. Your cat already knows this. There are 6 other signals after this one, and they follow a specific sequence, each one a little quieter, a little easier to walk past. By the time we reach the last, most owners have already missed it entirely. Not because it's hidden, because it looks exactly like peace. Pause for a moment and look at your cat. Has it slow blinked at you in the last 24 hours? Comment yes or no right now. We want to know how many cats in this community are still sending that signal. When you are upset, your body changes how you smell. Stress hormones alter your chemical signature, and cats detect that shift with precision. To your cat, that altered scent registers as something functionally close to the bond between us has changed. That is not metaphor, that is chemistry. So when your cat walks over after an argument and presses their forehead into your leg, that is not a request for attention. The scent glands near their temples, small organs that mark everything they consider safe, are depositing pheromones directly onto you. They are overriding your stress signal with their own chemical marker, restoring the shared scent identity the two of you have built. Your cat is repairing the relationship before you have even decided to. That is the entire system. The next signal looks completely ordinary. Most people see it and think nothing of it. They are wrong to. Behavioral researchers call it a reconciliation offering. After a conflict, your cat brings the object with the highest emotional value to them. Not food, not a random item selected out of convenience, and places it deliberately in front of you. Studies on social species, including primates and corvids, show strikingly similar post-conflict behavior. The voluntary offering of something personally valued to restore relational balance. Cats mirror that same mechanism. The distinction from simple prey drive behavior is measurable. No crouching, no stalking, no physical excitement. Your cat is making a calculation. They are deciding the relationship is worth more than the object. Watch for what they bring. The choice tells you exactly where you rank. A 2016 study tracking 58 feral cats found that mutual grooming only occurred between individuals with established social bonds, and was almost always initiated by the cat with higher investment in the relationship. Not every cat grooms every cat. When your cat licks your hand after tension, they are placing you inside their most protected social category. The individual's worth maintaining, worth the vulnerability of leaning in. The grooming itself triggers oxytocin release in both the giver and the receiver. Your cat is chemically reassembling the bond in real time using the only biological tool available to them. That is not a small decision. The next signal involves no touch at all, which is exactly what makes it so easy to misread. After a conflict, your cat rolls onto their back and exposes their stomach. Every human instinct says, rub it. This is the signal most owners misinterpret most consistently, and it is the one with the sharpest consequence for trust. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that belly exposure after social tension functions as a maximum submission signal, not a tactile invitation. Your cat is displaying the most anatomically undefended part of their body, deliberately. That is complete surrender. When you reach in and they bite, that is not aggression. It is a panic response triggered at the exact moment of deepest exposure. And when you pull back frustrated, your cat registers that reaction as punishment arriving precisely when they were most open to you. The trust does not break loudly. It quietly recalibrates, and it moves the internal threshold for risk a little further away from you. After that kind of recalibration, your cat makes a specific spatial choice. They do not leave, but they do not come all the way in either. Research on proximity behavior in domestic cats, published in Behavioral Processes, found that cats actively and deliberately adjust their position after social disruption. They select a specific range, close enough to remain within your awareness, far enough to avoid accidental contact. That quiet spot across the room is not indifference. It is the result of dozens of small observations about how you respond to pressure. Your cat tracked which interactions escalated and which ones didn't, and adjusted accordingly. That is calibration. They are holding the relationship open without asking anything from you. This is the field report most people never receive, and it requires one question. What happens when your cat stops choosing that calibrated distance entirely and retreats to a place where you cannot see them at all? A 2021 study on learned helplessness in domestic cats found that after consistent non-response from a primary attachment figure, cats measurably reduce social initiation. Not out of preference, out of learned futility. When the slow blinks, the forehead presses, the offerings, and the deliberate proximity are repeatedly met with no response, cats do not escalate. They stop. The cat still shares your space, still eats, still sleeps nearby, but the internal calculation has shifted. The relationship is no longer worth the effort of repair attempts. That is not independence. That is withdrawal, and unlike every other signal in this sequence, this one has no visible moment of arrival. There is no event to catch. It has already happened before you look for it. This is the behavioral change worth noting, and it connects directly back to where this started. Withdrawal does not look like loss. It looks exactly like peace. A cat who has stopped trying rests in the same sunbeam, eats from the same bowl, breathes slowly in the same room. Nothing appears broken, but consider this. That slow blink from the very beginning of this video requires something to protect. A cat who still blinks at you slowly still has a relationship they are willing to risk temporary blindness for. They are still in the calculation. They still believe it is worth something. That is not a small thing. That is the whole field report right there in one quiet gesture. If your cat blinked at you today, they have not stopped trying. Which of these 7 signals did you recognize in your own cat today? Tell us in the comments. The specifics matter more than you might think. The investigation into how cats repair what breaks continues. If this field report changed how you read your cat, the next one goes deeper still. Subscribe to follow the work.